I'm Stephen Lepitak, editor of The Drum, and I'm here at the Drum Advertising Awards to talk to the judges today about whether or not they see advertising as being a dirty word, and if so, how can people working in the industry be more proud to be a part of it?
So I think the public are kind of anti-advertising at the moment because they perceive it as big brands, big rich people in high towers just lying to get more of your money. And that is true when it's at its worst, but I think advertising at its best actually changes culture, changes perception, makes people feel something, and it can do a lot of good. Adam and Eve recently did a piece of work called Project 84, which was about male suicide, and as a direct result of that, the government has now brought in a suicide minister. So you can see how the conversation began from a piece of advertising and went way beyond it, and I think that's the real power. So I think public perception depends on the work, really.
I think that the industry needs to listen more to people, and they also need to think about people in different ways. Classic advertising for decades now has been a one-way conversation. Now people are complicit, they're controlling, they're actually driving. So the more we listen to people, the better our creativity is going to be, because they're finally in control.
Early TV looked like a lockdown camera on radio. Early film looked like theatre being filmed because the creative grammar hadn't caught up with the technology. It takes time, and right now there are so many new formats being invented that our ability to create a grammar around those formats is being strained, which is I think why there's a lot of confusion. All of these things, our ability to imagine things in a medium, and the metaphor I like to use to describe how simple this is that if I'm using my finger to draw in sand, the technology is the sand, right? And this is medium. Before I do whatever I'm going to do in sand, I'm thinking what it's going to look like and what I'm capable of doing in this medium. I can't do a finely cross-hatched illustration like Leonardo da Vinci because it's fucking sand. And as a creative person, it's not about the big idea, it's about taking it from here and putting it wherever, whether it's in sand or in a feed or on TV, it's all technology.
You should have a creative approach to what you do, and if you all come from that perspective, then the work that you create is better. But if it is just, I'm in my solo and it's robotic and you're just going to bolt that on so that we can get the best ROI. And you know, I mean, I used to work in magazines, an industry which should have been leading the world, and then it's like, Jennifer Aniston sells, let's put her on the cover. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston does it, we're in trouble, put Jennifer Aniston on the cover. And it's understanding what the people you're trying to market to, where they're at and what excites them, and the way that they discuss with each other and whatnot, whatever. And it isn't just about, oh, Snapchat scribble its by this and recreate it. Stop recreating, create for yourself.
So, is advertising a dirty word? I don't think the word itself is dirty, but I do think the industry has come up against a lot of criticism because of the kind of work that it's done. So if you think about consumers now, they're pretty much more like producers and editors in their own right. They are rejecting conventional forms of advertising, and they don't want to have their news feed interrupted in the way that traditional broadcast advertising has done in the past. So I think there's a lot of consumer resentment against advertising, and perhaps a lot of people in the industry are a little more embarrassed to say, oh gosh, I work in advertising, because I know that consumers aren't that keen on it.
I don't think that advertising is a dirty word. There are lots of reasons for that. The first is we get more now from advertising than in the history of media. If you think about the old exchange between what we got for advertising, it was that what we had to give up was an interruption, and we got information about a product. That was the exchange. Now we get that, but we also get these amazing services. If you think about what's happened with digital media, almost all the things that we take for granted, like search, like free videos, like connecting with our friends all over the world, is all paid for by advertising. So I think that's a pretty good exchange.